3,
What are you
2.
doing? You're just convulsing. What?
I'm stretching. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, guys. This is Adwicta, and that is Merps, and we are doing Grinning Goats, Rastakhan, preview, evaluation, Lightforge tier list card stuff, and we are deep now. We are in Priest. This is hour number 5, or we're about to head into hour number 5.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into Priest. There's one amazing card in Priest, and then there is one other premium card. But it's probably not in the order you think. The amazingly premium card is Auchenai Phantasm. It's a 2-mana, 3/2 card, battle cry. This turn, your healing effects deal damage instead. You know, like Auchenai, but for 1 turn only.
Yeah. And vanilla stats. Offensively statted. You have the Priest 2-drop, right? This is a 153, which is amazing because the ability is really, really, really good, and you give up no stats in order to do it. And these days, you have all of the sort of control tools as well, but there's also, advantages to be gained definitely from having something on curve and then you being able to elixir it on turn 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's an insane card. These 2-drops they give that are regularly statted, like 3/2s and 2/3s, and then later on get value. They're insane. They're just insane. You saw the same thing with Druid, right? Like we had that rated really high too.
Yep.
All right, Mass Hysteria is the card people go crazy over. It's 5 mana. We gave it a 134. That's pretty good. Like you'll take it over a Yeti.
Good.
If you're a control deck, maybe you take it a little higher than that, but that's kind of where it is. It's no Psychic Scream, right? Psychic Scream is a 193, lest you think we just don't like double-sided board clears for Priest for some reason. We do, we love them. Psychic Scream is one of the highest rated cards in the game, for good reason. But Mass Hysteria doesn't quite cut it. You wanna dig into what Mass Hysteria does, Merps?
Sure. Mass Hysteria says, force each minion to attack another random minion. So from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's basically like a minion is assigned another minion to attack and it attacks that, right? So it's not like they all just jumble up or whatever. Like they're sort of systematically assigned a minion to attack and then it happens.
No, it's not exactly like that. It's more like they pick a order of minions, like a random order of which minion goes first, and that minion attacks a minion, and then the next minion attacks a minion, and then the next minion attacks a minion. Anytime if a minion is dead, it obviously can't attack anything anymore.
Right, yeah.
But you'll never get in a situation where let's say you were assigned to attack a whatever minion, and then that minion died, and so you attack nothing. That's not gonna happen.
Right. It's not all assigned at once and then it resolves. It is randomly sort of assigned and it is 1 attacks at a time, right? So if we have A, B, C, D, E, it could be A attacks D, now B attacks C, or B could, So it's kind of like that. It's just 1 at a time. This could be a super clear, right? It could clear everything. But there is the unknown, right? There's the unknown, and you could also just come out with either, you can begin with a board in which you can't do anything. Like, for example, they drop Violent Worm, you got nothing, or yet you only have a 2/2 on the board, and you're just okay, this sucks. And you have those times in which,
and interestingly, if their Violent Worm is already dead, they'll still be left with the 1/1. Can't even be a whirlwind. Cannot even be a whirlwind.
Yeah. So with Mass Hysteria, not only is it awkward because you don't know what minions are going to hit into which other minions, there are situations, how Priest-like, right? It's there are situations in which this card is good, really, really good, and then polar opposite situations in which it's unusable / just really bad. Life of a kind of, being a Priest card. But on average, this is really good. You're going to be able to remove quite a lot with it. And if you are the opponent, can you play around this? Nope. Once again, the mark of a Priest card. can't play around this removal just because it's like, all right, well, shit, what am I gonna do about this?
Like, it's a fun card, but they obviously did not mean for this to really skill test as much as it is RNG. The things that works with this, if you have two creatures and they're the same size, or they have attacks larger than their health, then they match up. You can kill both of them. 5 mana, it's a pretty good deal. They can be pretty large. If you have one that's bigger than the other, you only kill one thing, which may not be that bad. It's 5 mana. It's just an assassinate cost, right? Like, you'll take it often, and it'll still damage your bigger guy. Totally playable. If you have 3 creatures and they're all the same size, you kill 2 of them, you leave the third one around. Again, you're only spending 5 mana. In any case in which you can get a guaranteed result, this card is pretty good because you know what's happening. It's in the cases where the order in which they attack stuff has a significant effect on what remains on the board that it gets really risky to play. So there's plenty of situations in which this card will work and have little to no RNG. But there's also a lot of situations in which this card will have massive RNG or just not work no matter how the RNG hits. Like, if someone played, for example, the Militia 3 times, the 2/4s, like, I don't know, it's going to end up with like a 2/4 or a 2/2 if you use this card. That's what the result will be. And you have to know that, like, in your head. You have to be able to calculate that very fast and know if you want that situation. So is that very high RNG? That's not that high RNG, a 2/2 or a 2/4 with Taunt on the board. Is it a good use of 5 mana? Probably not, but it could be okay. But you gotta, like, think through all that really, really fast. Or you can just be like, hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's what most people would do.
Okay, but you can think through it, is my point. Like, there is skill testing in this before you figure out what the probabilities of each end board state is.
Yep. All right, next card is Sand Drudge. 3 mana, 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a 1/1 zombie with Taunt. 120 score is, like, decent, right? It's with like a decent number of cards that some people might consider to be like premium or almost premium, and it gets that score even with missing a stat. We have a decent amount of 3/4 minions in the meta right now, so we think this, the ability obviously is pretty powerful. Priests have a decent amount of spells. 1/1 zombies with taunts are really annoying, so good card.
Yep. Create more fodder for the blast wave. Yep. Seance! We are now in the 70s, so these are bad cards. Do not draft them. If they are in the last bucket with other bad cards, maybe draft them. But they're not, like, and these are cards that are, well, we'll see. Seance, choose a minion, add a copy of it to your hand, 2 mana. So no, you're spending 2 mana to get a thing, and you do get to pick what thing that is, but you're gonna have to wait a really freaking long time to get a good thing that you want.
Yeah, the thing has to be on the board. Like, Yep. All right, next is Grave Horror with a tier score of 72. 12 mana for a 7/8 taunt. Costs 1 less for each spell you've cast this game.
Hey, it's a tiger. What do you know?
A tiger? Oh,
it's the Paladin Legendary, but, like, less terrible.
Well, yeah, it's like the kind of, at least with the Shirval, it's like the cost of it.
Well, this is each spell, so it's actually, and it starts at 12, so you just need to play 2 spells, and then you've, like, at least got a playable card, even if it sucks.
Right, I was saying the effect, right? It's like you obviously want the Tiger's effect. Well, if you had the Tiger's effect, then this card would be insane. Priest has so many. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, if you had the Tiger's effect, this card would be worth 0 points because it would be impossible to cast.
Yep. So think about it this way: 7/8 taunt. How much is that worth, right? Or how much are you willing to pay for that? It's like 7 mana is good. 8 mana is kind of like meh. Like, that's not good, right? If it's 8 mana, it is a worse Iron Bark, and I don't think people are like, oh my god, Iron Bark Protector, best card in the game. So you want this at 7 mana, right, for it to actually be good. And that means in order to play at 7 mana, you have to play 5 spells before this.
You're gonna have like less than 10 spells in your deck.
Yeah.
So,
and before then, you either play it for bad, like, you're playing something that's significantly overcosted, or you can't even play it.
The answer is extra arms and a coin. And then you maybe will be able to get there. But yeah, it's not a good card. But it's playable, right? I think it's very important, and that's what distinguishes it from being a 0 card. Like, you will play 2 spells, and so it will be a 10 mana 7/8 at worst.
Yep.
All right, now we're getting into 3 cards. I'm just going to go through them very quick because they're all terrible. I don't think we need to... we might need to talk about the Spirit, but they're like literally like 29, 20, and 16. Like, you will not pick these even if they're in the 7th bucket. Regenerate, 0 mana, restore 3 health. This is a 0 mana tempo card like other tempo cards, but it does nothing because it's very situational and you get 3 health. Like, a Wisp is way better. You get a 1/1, you get it anytime. This is very bad. Spirit of the Dead. So the Regenerate, like, how it works is it's supposed to be a combo card for your stuff like Auchenai Phantasm and things like that. The problem, of course, is that there's literally 2 of these cards. Auchenai Phantasm, which is a epic card, by the way, and then Auchenai, which is a regular card. And they're both minions, which means they don't get offered a ton. And so you're going to end up with like 1 of these in your deck that this Regenerate's going to synergize with. Like, you need these cards to do more. Okay, Spirit of the Dead, 1 mana 0/3 Spirit. Hey, 1 mana. Remember what we said? 1 mana is pretty good for these spirits, right? They can trigger a lot of things. Stealth for 1 turn. After a friendly minion dies, shuffle a 1-cost copy of it into your deck.
We have this at a tier score of 20, so this is like Terabad.
This is Terabad because you don't want 1-cost copy. I mean, you do want 1-cost copies of it in your deck, but you're never going to draw it. Like, it's not a thing. It's not worth 1 mana to be doing that. So, like, how many of your friendly creatures need to die for it to be worth a 1 mana card?
They have to die with you as a priest. Like,
right, which you don't want to begin with.
Yeah. So this is one of those things where, once again, there is a cost. Right? Like, if you guys, there is a cost to having cards, right? So by you having Spirit of the Dead, that is you having Spirit of the Dead and not another card in hand. I'm not talking about in draft. Obviously, like, if they bucket this, you could be like have something else. But whenever you draw this Spirit of the Dead, that's you just drawing this and not drawing something else. And as a priest, for the amount of times in which, number 1, you are able to / even want to kill something off, and number 2, shuffling something into your deck, in which case
you then have to draw somehow.
Then you have to draw it as well in order to extract any sort of value. And number 2, to extract meaningful value from it, right? Because if you're the kind of priest that's like, wait, all I have to do is play Tempo Priest. It's like, great. Now you killed off that 3-drop, put it into your deck. When you draw it, haha, I have a 3-drop for 1 mana. Not good, right? You need to pair this with the, like, obsidian statues. You need to pair this with all of your big stuff. So for all of these conditions put together, it's like, okay, I see how this is just super duper bad.
You'll see what the constructed thing is when you see the legendary and why this card even exists. But it's not an arena card. Surrender to Madness, one of the earlier cards shown, 3 mana, destroy 3 of your mana crystals, give all minions in your deck +2/+2. So again, you can put a bunch of 1 mana cards in your deck, and then you can add them all +2/+2, and then the legendary eventually is going to hit, and you'll draw all of them. But like in arena, this does very little. You're hurting your mana, or it's coming too late, and then you're getting like tempo super lately. It's bad.
Super lately.
All right, let's move on to the legendaries. What legendary am I referring to that is making all these cards work in constructed, or potentially making them work in constructed? We don't know if it works.
All right. Samdi the Dead. 7 mana, 7/7, Battle Cry. Draw 1-cost minions from your deck until your hand is full. So we have this at a 116. Like so it's decent. The score is decent.
Even in arena, it's decent.
Even in arena, it's kind of decent because, number 1, if it's just like 7 mana 7/7, draw like a small card. That's like, hey, you drew a small card, right? Northshire Cleric and even priests could have like a couple of them, right? And that's all you need. Like, drawing cards are good, and whenever you do that, you're making your deck better, right? It's like, all right, I'm just gonna draw this immediately, and then my other draws are gonna be pretty good. So 116, it's decent. It's fairly high.
You're expected to have a certain number of 1-cost minions. There's ways now that you can put 1-cost minions in your deck, but we're not actually accounting for them because they're never seen. It's just you get a little bit of a draw, right? Free draw.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one is Princess Talanji, 8 mana, 7/5. It's rated as 71. Don't pick this one. It's Nozdormu level. Battlecry, summon all minions from your hand that didn't start in your deck. So you got to put the synergies out, and you have to not play any of those cards, even if you want to, and then you play this, and you kind of get the value if you have like even if you have one creature, if it's a normal sized creature, you still don't get more than 8 mana value. You have to have 2 of them in your hand for you to get value, or like one really big one. It's so conditional, and otherwise it's 7/5 for 8. It's terrible. So that's that. People in chat are talking about how Bazwandi is larger, is being rated better than a Direhorn. Oh yeah, a lot of things are rated higher than Direhorn. Like, we don't like Direhorn. That's not like iffy kind of proposition. We've been backing this for the entire time we were talking about Direhorn and Druid. So you know we finished Priest pretty early. I'll talk about Direhorn a little and what Baswandi does differently. Baswandi guarantees you a 1 mana minion. Direhorn does nothing. Baswandi is in Priest, which means having like these high cost things can heal. I'll find out what War Golem is in Priest, but I'm pretty sure it's higher than the 90 it was in Druid. Okay, 92 is not that much higher, but it's a few points higher, and between those two, you're gonna get a higher like card. All right, so that's it for Priest. What do you think about Priest heading into the new meta?
I don't think much has changed about Priest. You know, Priest has always been the class in which it's got a super high roll potential, right? And it is a class that wants to go the distance with you. You know, it wants to kind of slow you down, and it wants you to kind of play into the power cards that it has, right? So, and if you look at the cards that were introduced, not that much changes. They got their AoE, right? Conditional AoE, very priest-like. They got their small card that does more in the Akanai Phantasm, which, you know, once again, does something that is familiar to priest and goes with their playstyle as well. The other cards are not good, but like you just don't have to pick them, right? That's the kind of the good thing about the bucket system. So yeah, if you like playing priest, you just get more of priest, and if you don't like playing priest, well, you don't have to play them. But I'm sorry to say that it's not like priest when you're facing them have gotten more consistent. They're just as swingy as they've ever been.
Yep, that sounds about right. I don't have really any comments on Priest. I don't think they got better, and I don't think Mass Hysteria is going to do too much work. And
No.
it's there. Like Alkanite Phantasm is good, but you know it's not doing a ton of work, being a minion and an epic, and not going to be seen. So yeah, why don't you send us out?
All right. I guess now's a good time to oh god, shout out our YouTube again. You can go there, on our YouTube, and search up Grinning Goat to see all of our 12 win videos and all of our arena coops, and also this, of course. You know, we do this from time to time. Thanks to DavidAttenboroughSays for editing and putting all of that stuff up. On to the next video.
On to the next video. See you guys after this.